Alright, so I am aware that I haven't done a video in about a month. I honestly couldn't care. I had stuff to do, snow to shovel, TV to watch, shit like that, and I just didn't have anything to talk about on this video because I was testing out the Google TV. I don't know if I did a video on that. No, I did not. I meant to. Sorry, I didn't do it. So I do believe I touched base on TiVo. TiVo is Android TV. Um, I've actually done a lot of videos on streaming players. Um, so this was the Premiere that I had bought 3 years ago. Holy shit, it's been 3 years since I bought that thing. Now, the problems I had with it was, rather than the remote using Bluetooth, it uses RF. And it's not like the RF you'd find in some game controllers, like the wireless controller I bought for my GameCube, uh, where there's really no interference because it's one solid signal. I don't know the technology behind it well enough to clarify that. I'm sorry. But the point is, the Roku remote, between the wireless GameCube controller, the wireless controller for the fan in my room, um, and all this other wireless shit, the RF signal got interrupted almost all the time to the point where I got frustrated and broke the remote in half. Um, you can't hook up a Bluetooth keyboard. You can't hook up Bluetooth headphones. The Wi-Fi in it is fucking terrible. Um, there's just a whole laundry list of fucking problems that I had with it. Um, so I had bought the Fire Stick, and at the time, as you can kind of see from the home screen here, it was very redundant and stupid, and I didn't like the home screen. And the App Store, they actually fixed the home screen issue somewhat, but the App Store is still a fucking pile of garbage. Um, so I gave away my Fire Stick. Um, and then I bought the Apple. Um, the Apple so far is the best one. The only thing I didn't like about it at the time was, in order to download any apps, because I only had the Apple TV, I didn't have any other, I didn't have an iPhone or a Mac or anything. You had to download the Apple Music app on Android, and I use Lineage, so I didn't have the Google Store, so I had to dig out an old phone that probably hasn't been updated in 4 years, um, and download that and sign up through that. And it's another service I had to sign up for just to download fucking apps. I hated that. I also didn't like the fact that I can't remove things from the home screen completely, so it's kind of like the Fire Stick, where certain things you just can't fucking get rid of, and I didn't like it for that. And then they pushed the dynamic update, and I just liked it even less because now it's, throwing off the dark theme. Um, it's showing me ads for shit I don't care about. Um, so then I had bought the TiVo, and the customer service on TiVo is fucking terrible. I couldn't turn off HDR. I couldn't disconnect the Bluetooth device, so I had to pair and unpair every time I wanted to use a Bluetooth device. It's a pain in the ass. The not being able to turn HDR off is a problem because there is not a single display on the market, and I could do a whole video about this, that can properly display HDR, especially if, like me, you bought a cheap $300 television, which in SDR looks fantastic. You can get the picture quality to look great, despite it being a $300 TV. HDR, the color looks like shit. It just does. So the fact I couldn't turn HDR off was kind of a problem. For those who don't know, by the way, HDR, to get 100% of the signal, your display has to be able to reach 10,000 nits. And there is no display on the fucking market that can come anywhere close to that. unless you're getting like a 40,000 lumen projector and projecting on a 1.4 or higher display, projection display. So yeah, I bought the Google TV, the Chromecast with Google TV, and I had the same problem with the TiVo that I couldn't turn HDR off. And there are certain apps, like the news channel I watch, Russia Today, isn't available. Stir isn't available either. So that became a problem. And it kind of brings me back to my initial thoughts on streaming when I first bought the Roku. That was, if you want the best app compatibility, and this kind of got interrupted for a little bit, it's either Roku or Apple. Those are going to have the two best streaming compatibility for apps anyways. Now the Roku has fixed that problem. They now have Peacock and HBO Max. But some of the other problems I had, like the fact I couldn't buy a remote. I remember talking about that because I ended up buying like a cheap piece of shit remote from China. But they have the simple remote now, which I believe is IR, like the one I bought, which is great. I really have to email them because I would imagine this is also IR, but I don't know. I'm going to have to check, because if it's still using RF, I'm not fucking buying it. But they're selling remotes now, so that's a plus. I can plug in a set of headphones with a 25-foot cord or a Bluetooth adapter directly into my television, so that way I can not only privately listen to my Roku, but my Blu-ray player and all my game consoles. So anything I plug into the television gets fed to a pair of headphones. So that kind of fixed that problem. By plugging it in, hardlining it, so to speak, by just plugging in an internet cable. I think I have Cat 6, if I'm not mistaken. That fixed the wireless issues. And I'm back to using the Roku simply because I now have a 4K TV. I don't have the money to buy a fucking 4K Apple, and with the few problems I've had, I just don't want to deal with it. And I don't want to pay for a more expensive Apple TV. I don't want to go back to Android TV either, or Google TV, simply because it is a joke. There are certain Android apps that just aren't compatible with certain devices for arbitrary bullshit reasons. Android, in my opinion, is just a terrible operating system because of things like that, where by all means the app should work. It is made for your operating system, but due to some arbitrary bullshit, it's not available. And then there's the fact that I can't turn off HDR, so I'm just fucking done. With the Roku, I can set it to 4K non-HDR mode, so it does everything in SDR, which is great, which what I needed it to do. So down the line, I'm probably going to buy one of these remotes. I'm not sure which one I would buy, but if I have the money, I might try both the simple and the one, because using two different remotes kind of gets a pain in the ass. But universal remotes with lesser known TV brands like Scepter kind of become a problem sometimes. So I might just go with the simple, plus it's $15. So that's pretty much that. I mean, you can get all the apps on Roku now. That's been fixed, thankfully. I honestly don't know what HBO Max and Peacock were fucking thinking, where they released their fancy smancy apps, and they didn't include the two biggest fucking players in the streaming game, Roku and Amazon Fire Stick. Granted, I do understand there's licensing deals and all this bullshit, but that kind of becomes very anti-consumer when, those licensing deals don't work out and then the new thing comes along and it's not available because of some licensing bullshit. And you are going to lose a lot of customers. I mean, HBO Max could have done so much better on launch if they had worked out these deals beforehand. And this just goes back to AT&T sucks at customer service. They never fixed that problem. And they bought Warner Media thinking they could, make some money, and they've actually continued to lose money because they don't understand customer service. That's just AT&T's problem. Always has been. So for now, I am making do with a terrible, shitty Chinese remote for my Roku. I have solved many of the problems I had by using an IR remote and whatnot, but there's not much else I can do. So I will see you guys in the next video, and I'm going to talk about NVIDIA next because NVIDIA's been doing some shitty, terrible shit. And sometime I'll talk about the update for Linux Mint.